All right, mind the piano. It's lunchtime, so I have a little bit of time to do something. I don't know if there's going to be a bunch of videos because I have some real life stuff coming up. I am in Bonehunters in chapter 4. I was reading that last night, and I thought, man, these convergences that happen in these books. Book 1, Darujistan kind of was the center of things going on. Book 2 was kind of this Oregon Trail. Book 3 was this convergence towards the Panian Daman. Panian Daman spreading out like this black scourge, and then them kind of being the light that pulls it back in. People from the north coming up with Lady Envy. People from the south coming up. People from the north, the Malazans, Moonspawn, all them, and then we have House of Chains, which is this convergence at Raraku, which I loved so much. Which is almost like the opposite in my mind of Memories of Ice. Memories of Ice seemed like this darkness to spread out, and then it's almost like Raraku was this flashpoint where you had to have shadow to kind of, I don't know. Anyway, just in my mind, I think about it as echoing, but a little bit different. And then in this one, it's like maybe the wildest convergence is about to take place in Bonehunters, and I am just all here for that. Karsa just might have barehand fought off one of those short-tailed Chamal dudes, the rebel ones. Holy smokes. It's like the craziest thing ever. I think, we have Quick Ben and them and all them in the Imperial Warren at the end of chapter 3. All these places are going to this ancient First Empire city, which it seems like the closing of the First Empire might have to do with when that city is like destroyed. And then the opening of a new one, the closures and the reopenings or whatever have to do really a lot with this city, it looks like. So and I'm thinking of the whole thing with the Lethari, where they were thinking of a lot of that is about this new empire. And now we have Leoman going there, and I think, Rulad is the self-proclaimed kind of emperor over there, but maybe it's not that. Maybe it's this Leoman who's going to go to this ancient city. Or maybe it's, and they're all racing to get there. And I can't wait to see what shows up, because it sounds like potentially the Edur ships are on their way there. The Leoman and the Resistance might pop off again. We have Quick Ben and Callum and all them going there. We might, we have this thing that got released that's eating, or gonna start eating and stuff. Holy smokes. It's just the greatest thing ever. Greatest book. I am so excited already. I think I'm at almost page 200, and I don't want this to end, which it won't for a while because I have another 1,000 pages. But just great. At the end of the Imperial Warren, there's these massive shadows that are behind them, and they're like, we got to get out of here. We got to get there before Leoman. We got to get there because we're being tracked. I don't know what these things are that they just saw. Massive, towering high shadows of some sort. So I can't wait to figure out what that is. I don't know what the heck's going on, but there's one massive one and then another and then another. I don't know if that means like some super crazy giant or whatever, but that'll become clear, I'm sure. One of the things I did want to mention, though, in this little bit of time that I have, is the use of italics in series. Sometimes it falls flat in some series when the authors kind of go and try to do these internal, deep, meaningful, contemplative things. Often there's a lot of change that happens. Sometimes it falls flat, but when they do it really well, I just love it. One of the best examples I can think of is with Glotka. He had all those italics in the first law, all these things that he's thinking, and just great. And in Malazan, though, there's been a lot of times where that's been some of my favorite stuff. If you've been following this channel, you know that maybe sometimes I love the action, like what with Karsa fighting this short-tailed Kachane Chamal thing with his bare hands is like the coolest thing ever. I love those one-on-one battles. Maybe one of the reasons I love Faithful and the Fallen so much is that the one-on-one battles were just amazing. And I love those moments in Malazan. Now, I do love their big grand battles, but it usually doesn't hit me as much as those shorter, kind of those smaller moments, because I love characters who kind of banter in the middle. I'm thinking of Princess Bride, all of those one-on-one duels. It's my favorite movie as a kid because of those duels. I loved them. And there was just a lot of nuance with their conversations and things. I just love them. Anyway, now I'm going off of... Anyway, talking about the italics. I think I could do full chapters of italics for some of these characters, not all of them. And I wanted to put out there, what are your favorite characters in this series up to Bonehunters? And it's okay if it is a character from Bonehunters, then maybe don't say why. If it's a character that you love for the rest of the series, maybe don't mention them quite yet. But if there are characters in the first 5 books that you think you connect with because of their depth, because of those maybe internal italicized moments, let me know. I'm thinking of Ganos in Memories of Ice. It's really great. Karsa really has had some great moments like that where he's having all these changes inside. Absalar in this book is starting to have more of that. And I love that she's being called not Absalar. Right? It's just kind of leaning into that. Mappo, I think I could do a full chapter of Mappo internal stuff, even though it kind of is usually the same thing now that we've seen from Deadhouse Gates. It's like, oh, I'm not being his friend, but I am his friend, but I'm not being his friend. It seems to be that note a lot, but I love some of these characters. I know the Maiba had a lot of that. Felicin had a fair bit of that. Trull, man, just love it. I love these characters for their dialogue amongst each other, but some of these internal things are highlights for me, and I could probably do a whole book without a whole lot of action, but a lot of that kind of internal thinking about stuff, which I don't know if a lot of people would be, most people are more action oriented and this internal stuff. But I could lean a little bit more into this one side and get rid of a little bit of this action stuff. Even though Bonehunters is turning out to be like potentially the most exciting thing. I know I've said that in the other ones. If I'm thinking of the excitement of what was building up in the first few chapters of each of these books, the first one just had no idea where that was going, so I didn't have any expectations. The second one, it was about getting to this other city, so that was at least interesting that we had a destination to hold on to. The third one, though, where we had the crippled god introduced, we had the Panions, that was the one where I thought, holy smokes, I'm so excited for whatever is going to happen, because these Panions, I can't remember how early on in that we figured out that they were these Teniscauri people. And then the fourth book with Karsa, it was like, who is this maniac? And what is going to happen with him? And we're still finding that and loving every moment of it. Every time Karsa's on the page, it just pops. And then obviously with the fifth one, based on what we knew of Troll in the fourth one, that was maybe the most exciting for me. And the stuff we get with the Lethery and the Edur, that was maybe the most exciting. Oh man, in this one they see Edur ships, I think. And that has me so excited. Please have a bunch of Edur showing up. But this one seems like the grandest convergence, like this melting or melding, whatever, of all these different peoples and whatever. Anyway, I am running out of lunch time, and so I got to get back to what I'm doing. Come talk on the Discord if you haven't. I have a link in some of my other videos. In the main channel video, I have a link there. Super fun. I love talking about all this kind of stuff there. Come join over there. It's on Matt's Fantasy Book Review Discord. It's been a lot of fun. And there's all these different other channels as well that I've been jumping in and out of. I'm not just on the one, so come join us there, and I will see you on the next one. But let me know. I'm willing to talk to you about anything in the first 5 books, because there's just so much there's so much that we could talk about. And so there's my italicized question to you. And I'll see you on the next one.